Good evening. I'm Anastasia Rivers and I'm here with Barbara Mc Intouch. This is my sister in blue and I want to welcome you, Barbara.
Thank you. Thank you, Stacy.
I invited Barbara because, like myself, she's a retired police officer, corporal, right?
Yes.
Retired as a corporal, just like myself. I met Barbara back shortly after Hugo is when Barbara joined. So I want to just go straight to you, Barbara. How you end up joining the police department? Because you told me you don't have no family here.
Well, I don't have any blood relative per se. I have distant relatives, distant family.
Okay.
I came here in 91.
Okay.
After Hugo, my uncle lived here, and he's my godfather as well, and the family wasn't hearing from him. So I decided to take the trip with my son to come to pay a visit for 2 weeks. And that's 91 and the rest is history.
Yes.
The rest is history. When that Pan Am flight landed, I knew I wasn't going to leave.
You love it
Oh,
here?
yeah.
Oh, thank you for loving it. I love it in Croix too.
Still do.
No, I remember when we first met because after Hugo, our headquarters was totally gone, so we was out of a trailer for a while, and we started to connect when we were doing Police Week.
Police Week, yes.
Yes, and Barbara, she just got straight involved like she'd been here forever, and that's what I like about her. She just got right into it, and her spirit is what attracted me to her, and we always been friends.
Yes.
We get along good all the
well.
time, and her outspokenness, just like myself, is what even cling us closer. So Barbara, tell me all about how you feel when you was a police to now.
Well, let me start back from when I came. So when I came, it was for 2 weeks.
Yes.
2 weeks later, just as the time when I was about to leave, the neighbor came over and offered me, well, she knew of someone who wanted someone to work in the office. And it was called VI Executive Freight. It's now VI Cargo.
Okay.
So the previous owners who owned it, so they hired me and I worked in that office for a few months. And then my uncle came home one day and there was an article that they wanted police officers. And then he said to me, well, you bossy, you could be a police. I never thought about being a police officer at that time because where I came from in New York City is pretty difficult. And being a police officer at that time was very dangerous. And I'm thinking, not knowing anything about St. Croix, whether it was a high crime area, nothing, I was really apprehensive. And then I started learning and doing some research, and I said, well, I could do this. Mm-hmm. And I straight away went to apply, not because I needed a job, because I had a job. The fact that I could actually be involved with the community like I love to and be a part of what's going on is what really drew me to become a police officer. So I did that. I signed up for the class, I got in, went through the academy. Our academy was down at the legislature at the time, where the legislature just came from. Mm-hmm. That's where we were.
Okay.
And we were there. We did all our PT outside with everybody watching us.
What year was that?
That was 91. Yeah, that was I entered the class December 2nd, 1991. I remember that clearly because that's my mother's birthday. So I entered the class.
Special day?
Yes, and we graduated April 15th, tax day, 1993. It started with 40 of us, and we graduated 25. And over the years, people transition, whether they went to a different life, they went to a different area of the government, or just resign altogether for whatever the reason. But I loved it.
After patrol, what area you went into?
Immediately, about 3 years after being on patrol, I got a call and asked me, it was Corporal Benta at the time, Corporal Oakland Benta. He called and asked if I wanted to join the Dignitary Security Unit, and I did. And that was Governor Schneider's wife, Mrs. Schneider. So I was security for them for about 2 years. And then Commissioner Davila, who was the commissioner at the time, asked if I wanted to go to learn how to write grants. And that was exciting for me. I've never done that before either. He said he will train, and he sent me to LAPC. There's some ladies there who did some little training for me. Then I went away and trained. And I did that. I became the grants coordinator for the police department I did that for about another 5 years, well, maybe 4 or 5 years. And very successful, I might add. Mm-hmm. We got a lot of grants. All the units probably did. All the units.
And you were stickler, yes, you were stickler.
Yeah, and shortly after that, there was an opening at the Office of Highway Safety, and I applied, and I was interviewed and got the job. So I worked at Highway Safety for 10 years.
In conjunction with traffic too, because my other half, Bramble, he was
right, with traffic safety.
commander.
Exactly.
And so you all work hand in hand together.
Very well, because the Highway Safety Office funded the traffic safety programs. And he was very instrumental in getting a lot of the new programs that we had online. He was very instrumental in ensuring that the department tap into those funds, and the officers went to training, and we had really good high-level training for the officers. Officers became traffic reconstructionists. We had those for the first time. Officer Joseph and Heilige and Platt and those guys. And so we did that. So I did that until 2010, and I thought that I was at the end of administrative work. So I resigned, and I went back in patrol. Loved it.
Let me tell
I
you,
loved it.
when you're working in patrol and you're going specialized unit, you get to appreciate patrol even more.
Oh, yes.
Because you do your report and you're gone. When you finish and you complete that report, you're done for the day. But when you're there in the administrative area, there's like a monkey on your back. You got to get this finished.
Yeah.
So even when you go home, you're still doing work.
That's right.
So it was like a blessing to go back.
It was a relief for me. And when I went back, I'm thinking, why didn't I not do this before?
Yes.
I really thought that I really, not that I wasted my time, because I was very productive.
You contributed.
And I contributed. However, if I have it to do all over again, honestly, I would say half of my career in the patrol.
I did 8 years. I did 8 years in patrol, and I enjoyed it. And when I got into the other unit, the specialized unit, I felt more solid with myself, because I get a lot more. It's good, and it was good that you did that, but you needed a little more time in patrol.
Yes.
Because then when you went back, it's a lot of things to change.
Yeah, well,
a lot of way they report writing and everything.
Well, right, a lot of stuff changed, but mostly in terms of attitude towards policing.
Oh, yes.
The attitude towards policing more so than the form and the format changed. So it was a little bit more challenging for me supervising, younger officers. Not that there were anything wrong with them or they didn't want to be supervised, but they were from a different era.
Yes.
They're from a different time. So because my children, even though they're in their 30s and like 31, 32, they're old school. They're raised by me, so of course they have to do what I say. But these younger,
they were a little challenging.
Yeah, but the thing, because I find, instead of criticizing them, I thought that it was best for me to learn and understand the way they think. And, I can't understand somebody, everything for them is electronics. No, we didn't have electronics. We didn't grow up with electronics. When I went back in patrol, the officers have their own computers, laptop computers, everything is just like really fast. It was good though. It was a very, very good thing, but, it was difficult. It was a little difficult.
But then, next thing I know, you were in patrol, and next thing I know, Barbara retired. Just like how you came in. But you didn't lose connection, because when we have different activities, you were showing up still.
Sure.
And but you retired after I did.
Yeah, I retired in 2012.
Yes.
So I only did two years in patrol, but it was basically part of a plan. I did 21 years like I wanted to. In retrospect, I could have done 25. Because I retired and then went back to work after 6 months. I thought I was going to literally lose my mind.
Yes, you have to be doing something. So when you went to work after you retired?
I went to work for the Mid-Island Federal Credit Union.
Yes.
So I worked there for 5 years, and I recently resigned two weeks ago. I really need to be on my own.
You were doing that, but in between that, before you retire, you were into the election,
right.
The Board of Election.
I am an elected member of the Board of Election. This is my first term, and I recently decided that I would do it again. So I actually returned in my petition. So I'm hoping to be elected again for a second term. These are challenging times. We are going through some transition. But
I read that when you resigned from a position. What position was that?
I was the chair of the joint board. So the joint board is the two district boards. When we come together to have a meeting, it's called a joint board. So I was the chair of that board. However, the legislature last year 2 years ago decided that we ought to be a single board. And we've met every meeting, and we have decided that we're not going to be a single board. That we meaning the majority of the members, have decided that they are going to not obey the law and do whatever they wanted to do. And I really felt that I could not be a part of that. I couldn't be party to that. Whether the legislature is wrong or right, I don't feel it is in my place to challenge that. I think that the members who felt that it was not correct for the legislature to do should have gone to court. Exactly. They should have gone through the due process instead of trying to stall or stymie the process. So what I did, I cooperated with the Attorney General's office, and they take the matter to court, and I did cooperate, provided information, and voiced my concerns and my opinion about the whole matter. Of course, the members are not pleased about that, but I support the single board concept. I really do. It really lends for policies to be streamlined across the board, instead of St. Croix doing one thing, St. Thomas District doing something else. When we have a quorum, for example, if there aren't 3 members from each district present at the meeting, even if you have a majority members, you can have a meeting.
Well,
let me tell you, with this here now, it's a simple majority. 7 persons, regardless of where they came from.
My point is, if you're gonna make it one board, we're supposed to be able to vote for all of them.
That too.
That's I have an issue with that. I'm not against what the ruling is or the law is, but if they're going to be, because they in St. Thomas could make a decision or vote unanimously at something that we over here don't agree on, and then we can't even say, well, when election time come, we could vote them out.
Well, really and truly, the way it is right now, we can make a decision. The St. Thomas board can make a decision that would affect us anyway, because that's decisions are made in joint board.
I know, but I'm saying is they still have to answer to everybody if all of us could vote for them.
Your point is well taken.
You know, because right now we have senators in St. Thomas and senators here, but they get together and they make decisions that are going to affect us here, and we can't vote for them. You know, and that is where I always wanted to be able to vote for all the senators and not just St. Croix, because they are that pin said Virgin Islands senator, you know, it said District of St. Thomas in one area during election time, but when it comes to making decision, it's all of them. They either come over here or they go to St. Thomas and have meetings or sessions rather that affect one district or the other.
Your point is well taken, and what I would have preferred to see, though, once the legislature decided to make us a single board, that even the number of persons serving on the board reduced. It's 14 of us. You know, 14 of us to make a decision or no decision. You know, so I would have liked to see them reduce that as well. One of the things I would have liked to see, too, is the responsibility for running the election on election day be transferred to the office of the supervisor. So the board members, we conduct the election. If you have a problem with something in the election system or something that was done during the election, for example, the appeal body, which should be us, you can't come to us because we run the election. So then everything ends up in court.
Yes.
You understand? So if you have the supervisor's office, who prepares for the election anyway? They do all the preparation for the election. All we do is just show up. Right? So I think that responsibility should be transferred to the office. I think they're capable, the persons who are working in that office. And I'm not talking about the supervisor per se, because she can come and go. That's an appointed position. She's well, she's not a contractual employee, but after the end of 8 years, she could go away. But the people who are institutionalized, the people who are there all the time, the workers, they do a beautiful job of preparing us for the election. So why not have them run the election, supervised by the supervisor, and if something happens, then we are the adjudicator, we supervise, you know, and that sort of thing.
Well, I see you're passionate about that just as much as you were with the VIPD. So we'll be right back and talk about how we were back in the days.
Alrighty.
This is the HighLow Dress, and we call it HighLow because it's high in the front and low in the back, long sleeve. This is another piece from Monif C. Yes, we carry Monif C in the Virgin Island. I'm the only one that is carrying it down here. So if you want it, you get it from us. We deliver it for St. Croix customers, or you could order online once the website is launched. And this is another piece, and I must say that Siobhan is wearing it well. The HighLow Dress.
Audio.
Yes. And it could be wear to just about any occasion, a cocktail event, or just a Sunday afternoon. However you choose, just wear the right accessories, and you got it.
This is Stacy, Miss Rivers, Miss New Attitude in a one-shoulder maxi dress. If you look at it closely, it's the brown, orange, and white. The flower print is in gold, white, and orange. This dress carries a one strap on the right shoulder, and on the left side of this dress carry a short sleeve, more like a dashiki cut. The fabric is lycra, so it stretches to fit, and you can wear this about any occasion. Stacy, how you feeling in it? Very good. Now we also make like prom dresses, formal wear, sports wear, casual wear, you name it. We make it.
I can't go to prom, I flew for prom. I did prom thing. I'm not a fan.
But you know we have.
For prom, I had my big one like that dashiki gown for prom. That's what was my prom dress, like that dashiki.
Ah, okay.
You know, close to this dashiki society.
Yeah, but we have some girls that prom and they do come wear plus sizes.
Yes.
So you know we do make.
Every side.
Yeah.
And all you got to do is call 340-643-1583 or email us at newattitudetv@gmail.com. The website is not launched yet, but we can still get your clothes ready for prom.
2018.
That's right. Yes, Barbara. And when it comes to policing, and we not only did our job, but we did a lot of socializing and
Yes, we did.
The police week. What is your special memory about police week?
I particularly remembered, first of all, when I got onto the police week committee, when I started working with the committee, a year after I got here, Lieutenant Holmes, or Sergeant Holmes, she was my sergeant, and she was involved, and she asked me that I wanted to be involved, and I did, and I really, really loved it. What I really particularly like, the togetherness with the people, the officers, and some who I knew and did not know. Last week, I was actually cleaning out one of my drawers, one of my drawers, my regular spring cleaning, and once again, I found my first VIPD variety show shirt. Never wore that t-shirt. I'm just savoring
That's
this
when we used to do the fashion show.
Yes,
and stuff like
I
that.
have it for whatever the reason. I don't want to wear it because I don't want it to be destroyed.
Wow, I
it's
wouldn't-
pink, hot pink with the orange writing. I still have my shirt.
Wonderful.
So I'm saving my shirt, and I would wear it one day. Of course, I don't think I could fit the shirt anymore. But
Well,
it was a size small.
Our variety show.
That was the bomb.
We had police officers modeling.
Yes.
I wish I had some pictures where I modeled. My model partner was Wakefield, Michael. Not Michael, the one that
Carlton.
no, Michael. He went to housing police
Oh my
after,
God, okay.
but he's in the States. He was my partner. You even had Leslie Hatchett that she modeled. We have Cornelius. We had.
Did Francis Nobel Francis, did he?
Oh
model?
yeah, a matter of fact, he was. I did a dating game once, and he was, just fun enough to be a part of it. We had dating game. We had one time myself, Jermaine Payne, and Naomi. We did Diana Ross and the Supremes 20 years later. We had our silver dress gloves. Stop in the name of love with our wig.
It was fun.
Remember?
And you know what? The public looked forward
Yes.
to coming to our variety show. It
Our
was
first
so
show
much
was
fun.
to Calabash.
Calabash upstairs in town in Strand
Yes.
Street. Yes, I
And
remember
it
that.
was so packed.
You know who was there too? And he became a police officer after? And your daughter, Smith. You remember?
Yes, yes,
He
they
was, not
model.
he was not a police officer. And
But
Tia was not a police
they used to come
officer.
to
And they
everything.
came,
Yes, both of them
I
model
remember
too.
that.
Yes, I have pictures with them. Both of them
Steve
model.
Brown, remember?
Yes.
Steve Brown was
Steve
there.
Brown, he modeled,
Yeah.
and we had so much fun.
Yes, we did.
Then it got so crowded, we went to Gertrude's.
Right.
That get too big. We ended up going to the Jive Inn.
Right. And then we had it one time when you had the business down here, remember? We had it upstairs in Five
Yes,
Corners.
yes,
We had
when I had the sale.
it was fun. It was I enjoyed. I really enjoyed that. I also enjoyed the activities, and the open houses was not really for
Oh.
food. It was not about food. It was about the community coming to meet the police officers.
Exactly.
And they used to come out to see exactly what it is. And when we started, remember when we started at the pavilion, we started having the Mother's Day service.
The service.
We had a Mother's Day service at the
And
pavilion.
it was well
It was
attended.
well attended. And what really, really did it for me, what really touched me, is when we decided, I remember one of the last things that we did before I kind of sort of fade out of the committee, was we did dedicated over at the pavilion. There was a big stone, and we were trying to figure out how do we put in the names of the officers,
The fallen
up,
officers.
and then I remember us looking through the window, and it was this big stone, and we suggested, let us build a monument around the stone,
Mm-hmm.
and where we could have the names placed. And Corporal Damidou got
Yes.
to going, and she was relentless
Let me tell
in
you.
getting that thing built with Vialco.
That's why they have down their name after her, because
Yes.
she was a go-getter.
Relentless.
She could get sponsors that didn't even want to sponsor,
Yeah.
to sponsor. She was just good at what she did.
And we worked. All we did was we worked. We did
Remember
what
the
we-
senior
yeah.
citizen day?
Oh, yeah.
We used to have
Oh,
a senior
yeah.
citizen day and have all the senior citizens come and we honor them, we feed them. Sometimes we go and visit the center, we dance with them, get them TV, whatever they needed.
Yeah.
We get the funds and whatnot.
The senior...
As a matter of fact, tomorrow is, I
Senior.
think, the senior citizen.
The Senior Citizens Day went on for a very long time, even after you and I left.
Yes,
Yeah,
I don't know what happened after.
Yeah, I remember when Commissioner Lewis, when Elton Lewis came in, he really loved that. That was one of his things. If we don't do anything else,
The
he
senior
loved
ci-
the Senior Citizens
And the police
Day.
ball.
Yeah.
We had the police ball. A matter of fact, his wife now, I introduced them to go to one of our police ball was down to Footprints. And he met her, I introduced them to go to
I'll
the bar.
pay you for that.
And I don't know, she's my cousin, so I put his business out
Oh,
there.
down there, right? I saw him
And he
the
can't
other-
do nothing about
I
it.
saw him the other day. They were at a breakfast and I was there. And it's always a pleasure to see him.
Yeah.
And you know, he's so quiet and he's not very outspoken and outgoing.
No, he always
he's
been that way.
He always appeared to be not very friendly, but he's one of the nicest to me. He's one of the sweetest, nicest person that you would ever want to speak
I grew up
to.
around him because
Yeah,
his
he's a
sister
nice-
Harriet,
yeah.
she was my good friend in school. So whenever I go to visit, when I go by her house, he just goes in the room. He
Yeah,
just
he's
always
quiet.
quiet, you know,
But we've
but
had
a good heart.
We've had some good supervisors along the way. I worked a lot under Commissioner Christian Buffy, Franz Christian, because I worked with him for 8 years, and that's the longest commissioner I've ever worked for. And I've learned a lot from him. And one of the things that he has taught me that I took out into my private life or private world when I work private is that you would give him something to sign. And I would fuss at him, the commissioner, come on, hurt. He said, no. So you will learn that you have to read every
Exactly.
single
Every
thing.
line.
And he would read and he would digest. He would put it to the side, and I'm sitting there like, oh my God, this guy just needs to sign this thing. And he wouldn't. Until he is satisfied that what he has read is what is supposed to be.
He don't rubber
He
stamp.
would never rubber stamp anything.
And I'm going to tell you, I thank him too because it's because of him I end up getting to join the Bureau. I always wanted to go in the Bureau, but I had a bad sick record. And that was a bad way to be. And I encourage anybody that's on the police force or any place, you have to improve on your sick record. So he told me, if you want to join the force, I give you 6 months to improve your sick record. Let me tell you, that was my encouragement. And 6 months, I had a clean record, and I got to join the board, the investigation bureau, and I thank him. But before that, we had an all-female squad.
The panty squad?
They call it panty squad,
When I came and I
or
heard
they call
about
it
that.
Buffy's Angels.
I heard about that.
And Sergeant Howard Daniels was our sergeant. And anyway, we're going on and on, but it was fantastic. Novell was here earlier, we spoke about it, but Novell, he went so fast into the bureau and different things. You know, he really moved up fast, and which was a good thing because of his go-getter and whatnot. So we were down in the grassroots for a while doing other stuff and in the police department. So it was a good experience, and we had good people that guide us and you know, keep us on the right path.
Yeah, because everybody, all the commissioners that I have worked under, they brought something else, something different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but one of the things I could say, they brought a lot of respect and dignity to the department, right? My aunt told me, I had an older aunt in her 90s, and she told my sister and I, your attitude will determine your altitude.
Exactly.
And my other aunt would say, one day I came home, I was working in a five and dime store and I was in high school. And I came home one day and I was complaining about this lady. She wants me to fold the fabric a certain way. And I was just fussing about this lady. You know, this is all the lady did. And she really loved her job. And I couldn't see it. I couldn't fold in fabric for the rest of my life. I just couldn't see it. But that was her passion. And I was talking about it one day, and my aunt said to me, you go to work. You don't go for love and affection. So when you go there, you do what you're told. All right? If they're going to tell you to do something that's going to be detrimental to your health or to you, then you say something about it. But if it's within your scope of what you're supposed to do,
yes,
just do it. You know, and that's my attitude. You know, I don't question authority.
If it's 8 hours, you do your 8 hours.
Do your 8 hours. Do it faithfully. And then go home. But we had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. When I came on, I worked with Hendrickson, you know, God rest his soul, Hen. Hen was our official cook, as you know,
barbecue guy.
Johnny Cake. Then Cheryl Orange was my trainer. My FTO was actually Glenroy Gittins. Mm-hmm. But after I came out of the academy, I worked with Cheryl Clark, Denise Clark, Hen, Mora, Scotland, and Sergeant Holmes and Mary Duggan, Sergeant Duggan, and Lieutenant Santos. That's where I worked.
Well, I had a whole bunch, so I don't want to call
but
names.
in the beginning, of course,
because I'm gonna miss out, and I already don't call a few. I don't want to really miss it because it's too much.
And then there are people don't
but
have.
I got to cut you off because we have to do the raffle. I have to do the raffle for the prom. I promised the kids that on the 31st that I'm going to raffle the prom dresses for that. I have 6 prom dresses to give away, and I promised the kids that we'll raffle it on the 31st. So I'm asking you to do it now, and then we'll show it on the 31st on YouTube as promised, and they will be able to get a chance to see who the winner is. And then we have the dinner for 2 after.
So they're going to be modeling the dress?
No. If they want to, I won't put them on the spot, because the reason why I did it this way is because I got this, matter of fact, I'm piggybacking off of Louette Lewis. She's, a matter of fact, Elton Lewis' ex-wife. She was in the National Guard, and she and some other ladies got together about 2 or 3 years ago and were giving these prom dresses out to girls. And I saw a picture of one of them, even though I think it's a good idea what they're doing. I feel if, you know, I could see the one girl was kind of like a little timid or embarrassed, you know.
To be in public?
To show it. So when they win, if they choose to show the picture, I leave it up to them to show where they win it from New Attitude. So if they don't want to show it and take a picture, I'm not going to put the pressure. But all they got to do is call me at 340-643, and when the number call 643-1583. So what they would do is if we call the number, they're going to call me, and then they got to show the picture ID and what have you. So we'll be back with that in a minute.